Hi everyone, welcome to my first craft with me slash tutorial kind of video. And this is a special video for me today because it's also the first one of a series of videos that me and three other lovely ladies are going um, to do. Here I'm showing you a spread in my journal. This is a challenge that Angela, Gina, Nikki, and me are going to be participating in. It's called Five on a Dime, and the idea is that one of us will each month will choose five random things, and we will each do a project with them and then share it here on YouTube. And so here I'm sharing with you the prompts for this month chosen by Gina. So they are the safety pin, and because I did not have any like regular safety pins, I just chose a ball pin instead. Then buttons. So here is a box full of vintage buttons that I found while thrifting one day, and I was so happy because they cost me next to nothing. The third prompt is window envelope. So I just chose this rather big envelope that I got in junk mail. Lace is the next prompt. So I have just a selection of laces. Most of them are not vintage. I bought them locally or AliExpress. And then the last prompt is paper doily, and I decided to. I do have regular paper doilies, but I also have these gorgeous printed linens from Bonnie, who's living life creatively on Etsy. And she asked me if I wanted to do a design project for her. So I decided to kind of combine this into this one video. So I'm going to be doing a design team project for Bonnie with her digital vintage linens kits, and of course the five on a dime challenge. So here I'm showing you the gorgeous doilies. I printed them on matte photo paper, and I some of them I printed double, because I just wanted different sizes, because I did not know what I'm going to use it for. So here I start trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And when I saw the prompts that Gina came up with for this month, I knew that I wanted to center my project around the window envelope. And I'm actually I'm starting to work on a journal where I'm going to be using a gorgeous kit by My Porch Prints. I will link this kit down below. And I printed some of the papers already, but I had some misprints. My printer just printed some different colors, and I did not want to use these papers as journal pages, but I also didn't want to just throw them away. So here I'm using one of these pages to cover the outside, I guess, of the envelope. And I also have this uh, very basic rectangle die cut set, metal die set from AliExpress. And here I just cut a window with it. I just eyeballed it really, and now I'm gluing down the paper. I just needed a base. I just needed something to cover the white, so I just can work from there. I'm using my bone folder um, to make sure it's glued down properly. Now I'm also cutting out the excess paper. I really love these papers. I'm so excited about working with them. This is not a design team for my porch prints, but I'm going to be using quite a lot of her products today too because they are just so lovely. And um, Okay, so here I cut the paper too short. I have this little like white part on the bottom, so I just figured out I'm going to cover it with lace, and now I'm just inking the edges. I'm using a vintage photo from Tim Holtz. Okay, and for the inside, I decided to use one of these gorgeous doilies, and this is why I printed them different sizes, because I can use smaller sizes for like ephemera pieces, for tags, journaling cards, and whatnot. And this big piece I can use as a whole page, whole background, and it's gorgeous. Um, so again, I'm gluing it down. I'm using a like a tacky glue, wet glue. I don't actually have a glue stick. I think I've run out, but I don't really like glue stick. I don't trust it. And since I'm not going to be sewing these pieces down because I don't want to close the pocket, I don't want to sew the pockets close. I wanted a glue that I trusted will stay. So now for the other page on the inside, I chose this beautiful paper from my porch prints, and now I'm just trimming it down for the width. And I'm also going to be figuring out which part, top part or bottom part, which one I want for this page, trimming it all down. Um, and I've also sewn around it. I did not sew, again, did not sew to the envelope, but I love the texture of a machine stitching, so I just added it here. Using my bone folder again, I'm trimming the excess, and I'm also going to be inking the edges. I decided to ink the edges once the piece was already glued to the envelope, because I knew I was going to trim a little bit of the excess. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the flap. And I wanted to make a like a flip page. I wanted to use this flap, but it was very flimsy, very delicate, and I decided to reinforce it. So I used this scrap piece of paper that I had left from cutting the page before, and I'm going to glue it partly inside of the envelope and partly outside on the flap. So I reinforce the place it creases. And I'm also going to trim this piece of paper to to I just wanted the rounded corners um, of the flap to be visible. I'm using my trimmer as a scoreboard. Often use it when I just need to score just one thing or something like that, and it works perfectly. So I use my bone folder or a bone folder, and I just used the trimmer for that. Now I'm cutting down this large piece of vintage linen printable to the size, and I had an idea in the beginning that just did not work. You will see I'm trying. At first, I was trying to glue or sew this vintage linen to the inside of the flap. First, I decided to cover the other part of the flap as well with another scrap of paper. So I had an idea and it did not work out. I didn't like it, so I just changed it and did something else, and I'm very happy with the result. So here you see me just trying it out and figuring it out and just deciding that this was not going to work. Um, and I changed my mind. So in the end, I decided that I want to attach this linen to the outside of the flap. So I cut even more of the linen so that it fit my page. Now I'm inking it up. I'm inking both sides of the printable. It's white on the other side, but I will ink it too because it's part of it will be visible, as you will see in a moment. And I decided to sew this linen to the flap. So as you can see, I used a zigzag stitch to make sure it was secure. Okay, so now it's time to glue down the lace. Um, so I'm just using again the tacky glue. I'm using my finger to kind of how do you say it? Sorry, you you could probably see what I was doing. I just did not want blobs of glue seeping through my lace. This is a kind of thin crochet lace, so I just wanted a thin layer of glue. Now I'm inking the creases again, and I also wanted to figure out what to do with the inside of the window pocket because the pattern that was inside wasn't too bad, but it just didn't fit. It was, like nothing special, just gray color. So I decided to use another misprint from my pouch prints that I had, and I'm cutting it to the side and I'm going to glue it inside. So this way I have this piece of image peeking through the window, and also you will see the whole image once you open the pocket to put something inside. And the tacky glue or the wet glue in general, I guess, it's a good way. It's good to use because it gives you time to move the paper. So now I'm trying to decide what to do on the inside, and I just pulled a bunch of scraps, tea stained paper, some book pages, some scrapbook paper, recycled paper, and I'm tearing all of them up randomly, kind of, and I'm going to make a scrappy notebook with them. I usually sew notebooks like this directly to the page, but as I mentioned before, I don't want to sew on this envelope, so I don't close the the sorry, the pocket, the envelope closed. So I'm going to sew the papers together, which you will see in a moment. Here we can see it. And then I'm just going to glue the whole thing down to my page. So with scrappy notebooks like this, you don't have to make sure each piece is the same. You just tear down the pieces and make sure that they don't kind of overlay the edges of the page. That's all. So now I'm trying to do something with the white background of the vintage linen. I used a Stamperia stencil and now I'm using some stamps. I think I got both of them on AliExpress. One of them is like a kind of like a damask pattern, and then a little text script stamp. I stamped using the vintage photo again. So here I decided to use another piece from the kit from my Porch Prince, and it's this cute ticket. I tore down the sides and I'm inking up the white edges, and I'm going to use it as a tag spot. But I decided to sew some buttons to it so that, as you can remember, the buttons were also a prompt in our challenge today. I also have some cheesecloth, tea-stained cheesecloth. So first I mat the tickets onto cheesecloth, and then I'm going to sew the buttons directly to the ticket. Here you can see the result, and this is the embroidery thread that I used to sew them. Now I'm gluing two sides of the ticket and gluing it down to the page to make a tag spot, and I will put something inside later. Now I decided to use another piece of these beautiful linens. So I chose this one that I'm matting with tea stained papers on which I printed beautiful avocado lace papers from tailor-made journals on Etsy. I will link this kit below for you because it's gorgeous. And I'm inking the edges, and I decided to make a little flip out or flip up, I guess, out of it. I've sewn around it just for some added texture, and here I'm using my trimmer again as a scoreboard. And I'm just going to glue this smaller part that I just scored down, and it makes this cute flip. Alright, and now I felt like I was missing something on the front, so I decided to use some cool flower-shaped eyelets that I had from AliExpress, and I used my crocodile tool to put an eyelet in, and I thought I had a close-up of it, but so anyway, I have a sari silk ribbon, sorry. I made a bow out of it, and now I'm using a ball pin with a charm. I'm going to choose a charm that I like for this project, and this is this very delicate leaf. And also some beads. I love using my ball pins with charms and beads all together. I'm choosing some beads with the colors that match my page. And I'm just going to attach it through the eyelet. At first I tried to attach it to the bow, but it did not work, so I just put it through the eyelet. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the window. I have a lot of scraps from Edith Holden books after my recent project where I made the traveler's notebook journals, and I could not bear to throw away even the smallest scraps. And I'm choosing some that could be I don't know, relevant or that could work well. The journal I would be working on with the My Porch Prince kit is going to be a spring May custom order journal with a lot of Edith Holden in it. So I just chose a poem about spring. I'm inking it up. I used my ruler to tore it from the page because I didn't want very even edges. And now I'm choosing another element from my Porch Prints, this cute journaling cards. I printed it. I printed it on photo paper, and on the other side, I printed the avocado lace papers from tailor-made journals. And now I'm going to sew this little poem onto the card, but first I realized that Another element from the kit was these cute tabs, which would be perfect because it would make it easier to just pull off or pull the card out from the pocket. So I cut it out, I inked it up. Now I'm going to sew. Here we can see the sewing, and I'm attaching the tab, just trying it out if it will work, gluing it to the card. And it works perfectly because I see the poem in this window and it just looks really pretty. So now I'm figuring out what to put on the other side of the big pocket, and I'm making a little like a journaling tag or card with another beautiful linen printable from Bonnie. And I decided to mat it again on this tea stained paper that I printed the lace avocado dyed paper on the other side. So I'm matting it. I sewn along two sides. My machine just kind of rebelled here, but yeah, so I just put it inside. I also inked the edges, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with the tag spot. I looked through my own ephemera, but nothing really spoke to me. So here I'm choosing another quote from Edith Holden about May, inking it up, and I'll just make a simple tag with this quote and put it to the tag spot. So this is tea stained cardstock that I have. I just cut a rectangle, gluing down the quote. I decided to round the corners um, just for some added interest, and I'm going to sew around, yeah, around the quote, inking it up, and that's it. Very simple. Um, but I think this page, this spread needed something simple. Simple. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you like this video, if you like the format, or what I can do better next time. And hope it inspired you. And have a great day.